So $100 million. That's the estimated amount of revenue that was lost in Melbourne over the weekend, not to mention the mental blow for people. Was the call the right one by Daniel Andrews?
Well, as you know, the Prime Minister said that it required a proportionate response. So we have a new more infectious strain, and governments need to take the health advice. But this is a very challenging time for the Victorian community, both families and for businesses. And we all hope that both the government and the health professionals in Victoria are able to get on top of this local outbreak as fast as possible. I was speaking to a restaurateur just yesterday, Pete, and to show the devastation that such a lockdown has on his business, it has cost him $50,000 in food that he can't donate, food that he just has to throw out. Another $30,000 in wages, as he had a number of chefs preparing that food all week for what was expected to be a bumper weekend of trade with Valentine's Day, Chinese New Year, obviously people coming and going to the tennis. So this is pretty tough for businesses, pretty tough for the kids who have to stay home from school, pretty tough for people who have to work from home, but it is again a painful reminder of the challenges we face with this virus.
As a Victorian, do you have full faith in the contact tracing program?
Well, there's no doubt they've made improvements in Victoria since the second wave. And as Greg Hunt said, it's a much improved system. And we have also offered additional support to Victoria. So they are running their contact testing and tracing. They have that responsibility to follow up these new cases. Let's hope they get on top of it very quickly. But certainly the Commonwealth is prepared to provide that additional support to them.
You say improve, but still a long way short of where it needs to be?
Well, if you ask me who the gold standard is, that's clearly New South Wales. They haven't gone to a full state lockdown despite having clusters of cases. That's not an experience that's been replicated in other states. But clearly there has been improvements in Victoria, and we welcome that. And we want to see Victoria and its more than 6 million people get out of lockdown, and that quarter of the national economy, as Victoria represents, back on its feet quickly.
The Victorian government, as you might have just heard, Treasurer, wants to revamp quarantine and potentially use facilities near Geelong. Would you support that?
Well, again, I haven't seen the details of that specific proposal. All I do know is that quarantine and hotel quarantine has proven to be effective in other states. It's based on the advice that the government has received. It's also been discussed and agreed at National Cabinet. And we need to remain open to Australians coming home, whether it's for births or deaths, whether it's for the inbound importation of medicines that we need, whether it's the exporting of agricultural goods, which help put money into the economy and creates jobs. We need to remain open as far as we can in a COVID-safe way, and that means ensuring that we have got a quarantine system and one that's effective.
You got new JobKeeper details out today, Treasurer. State by state, industry by industry at the moment. Most of it is positive. When you're talking about Victoria, though, there has only been a 44% drop in the number of people who've come off JobKeeper payments in Victoria. Well, are you considering anything extra for the state of Victoria beyond March?
Not right now. We know that Victorians have relied heavily on the government's support, the federal government's support, that is, whether it's the JobKeeper program, the JobSeeker payments, the cash flow boost and the $750 payments, as well as other additional support. Right now, there is more people on JobKeeper from Victoria than from any other state. But what this latest ATO data shows is that there's been a remarkable improvement in the Australian labour market. We've seen a 70% fall in the number of people on JobKeeper through that December quarter compared to the previous period in Western Australia, a 67% fall in South Australia, a 65% fall in Tasmania, a 64% fall in Queensland, a 60% fall in New South Wales, and as you say, just a 44% fall in Victoria, because Victoria is the only state to have gone through a second wave.
So can you confirm, there's a report this morning too, Treasurer, that you may be considering a new welfare payment that's all rolled into one, so it's inclusive of all supplements. Are you considering that? Can you confirm that?
I'm not going to speculate on speculation, as you would expect my position to be. What I can say again is that the Prime Minister and I and Ruston have all been pretty consistent that we will make an announcement about the future of that job seeker payment before that supplement at that heightened level ends in March. And we have been working through our options in relation to that, but I'm not going to speculate on the speculation in today's media.
Is it incorrect?
I'm not going to give you an answer either way, other than to say we're working through our options. We have effectively doubled that safety net with the job seeker payment. We are seeing the economy pick up. Those JobKeeper numbers today are very encouraging. They were broad-based, Pete. They were across all states and territories. They were across all major regions, and they were across all major sectors of the economy. So that improvement in more than 2 million people graduating off JobKeeper is a very encouraging sign indeed.
Can you at least confirm right here, right now, Treasurer, that people on JobSeeker will get more than $40 a day?
Again, I'm not going to go further than what I've said previously, which is we will make an announcement. No matter which way you twist it and turn it, Pete, and how many times you ask me, we will make an announcement about that future rate of job seeker before the end of March.
Okay. The ACTU, Sally McManus, saying yesterday that she wants JobKeeper payments to be extended for the course of the pandemic, which could last a long time. What's your response to that?
Well, of course the ACTU would say that, just like the Labor Party. They've never seen a tax they didn't want to increase and a spending proposal that they didn't like. The fact of the matter is already JobKeeper has been the most expensive and most comprehensive government support program ever announced. It's forecast to cost around $90 billion. You've seen a substantial fall in the number of people on JobKeeper, but you also saw a review from Treasury last year on the JobKeeper program, which found that it actually had some adverse incentives, particularly pronounced as the economy picks up. And that means that it prevents people being deployed to other sectors or to other jobs across the economy. It impedes that labour mobility that we need. And so therefore, a program like that always needs to be temporary. It was originally for 6 months. We extended it for 6 months. Now people are graduating for it. So our intention is for it to end in March.